This is Ashton here, and I know it kind of looks like a little bright over here, but yeah. Today we're going to look at another My Story Animated, and I was looking and I found. Wait, my boyfriend was pretending to be me. I was gonna watch how I was seeing when I was 1 day old, but.
Life as a second-born royal isn't always a fairy tale. This is the secret society of second-born royals,
I felt like I was going to explode when I saw my phone light up again. Every night at the exact same time, for the past week, this weird number called me. Whoever it was just wouldn't leave me alone, and it was driving me insane. I'd had enough. Stop calling me! I screamed down the phone, but then I heard the person on the other side crying. Please, don't do this. I've given you everything you asked for, and now all I want is to see you. Whoa, who was this? I felt shivers go up my spine. Was this some kind of sick prank? I told him he obviously had the wrong number. Then I went to hang up, and that's when I heard him say, "Clara, don't do this. I hired someone to find out your real number, and it won't take much for me to find out your address, too. You won't escape from me." Before I fill you in on the craziness that came next, don't forget to like and subscribe to My Story Animated, or you might end up receiving weird calls at night, too. And believe me...
The hell? Oh wait, no, they said like. Come on, hurry up. I don't want it. I don't want the curse. Come on, work. Okay, let's go.
When I say you don't want that, I was so creeped out, I immediately called my boyfriend. To be honest, I don't know if that was the best idea because he went insane. He said I clearly had a stalker and that we'd need to change my number, and then he suggested I come stay with him for a bit until we sorted this all out. However, there was just one little problem. He was out at his grandparents' cabin in the middle of nowhere, and I had no idea how I'd get there. But I had no choice. My parents were away for 2 weeks, I was home alone, and now I had a stalker who just threatened to come and hunt me down. This was the stuff of horror movies, and I was not going to wait around.
Okay, shoot her. I wonder what he's gonna do to her. If they found out.
For it. I packed my bag as quickly as I could and locked myself in the bathroom. My boyfriend said he'd come get me in the morning and that I should just stay calm and not leave the bathroom until he got there. Hello? Easier said than...
Like, literally, easier said than done. My gosh. Are you serious? Like, are you serious? I can't get any water. I can't bring any water in here. You serious, man? I'm gonna have to wait for 6 hours just for you to fly over here and kill me? I mean, not kill me, but to get me out of the bathroom? My man's gonna already come out there and be like, FBI, open up, kick over the door, shoot her on the head. Bro, easier said than done.
It's pretty hard to keep calm when someone is stalking you. But I must have dozed off for a sec because the next moment I heard scratching sounds outside. I froze. It sounded like someone was literally right outside the window. I held my breath as if it would somehow make the situation better. But then things just got worse. I heard someone pacing outside and banging on the front door. And then won't believe it. They smashed a window. I quickly grabbed my phone and was about to call the police when my boyfriend started ringing.
She has a huge bathroom. Who has a bathroom that has a couch? Wow, I did not know that. She's rich.
When I answered, all I could hear was heavy breathing, and then he started shouting at me, saying he was downstairs and why the heck wasn't I answering the door? He'd locked his keys in the car with his phone inside, so he had to smash his window to be able to call me. I mean, I was shocked. It was the middle of the night, and okay, my boyfriend was definitely the protective type. Like he'd drive me to and from school and didn't like me going anywhere by myself. But this was the next level. He'd just driven 3 hours in the pitch black to come rescue me. And when I saw him standing there next to his smashed car, I felt so sorry for him, but also so loved. Anyway, the first thing he did when he saw me was hand me a new SIM card. He said I needed to change my number right away. Then he suggested I delete my social media because that must be where the stalker found me. Whoa there, that was taking things too far. I had thousands.
The heck? Why did she do? No. No, but she was like, gotta concentrate on my finger. Okay. No.
Of followers, and there was no way
Everyone just putting up the middle finger. Yeah. By the way, I used my pointer finger for that one. I was like, yeah.
was about to give that all up. I suggested we just call the police, and my boyfriend looked like he was about to flip his lid. He said that would just complicate things, and plus, I'd be safe with him at his cabin. As I fell into a deep sleep on the drive there, I hoped he was right.
Bro, my man has no back seat. He just has like a little car, no back to it, no trunk or anything. He's just.
But in the back of my mind, I couldn't stop thinking about the way that guy had cried on the phone. Who was he, and what did he want? I quickly forgot about him, though, once I saw my boyfriend's family's cabin. Holy smoke, it was luxury. I guess I thought my boyfriend's family were kind of poor, and that's why he hadn't introduced me to them, but oh my gosh, they were loaded. I couldn't believe it. I was excited to explore, but my boyfriend was exhausted and asked if we could just take a nap instead. I told him I'd just hang out by the pool.
Is he pissed at him? Like, he literally wasted 3 hours to come get you. And then he puts you back in the car, drive another 3 hours to get to his cabin. And then she's just like, I'm gonna explore. And then he's like, please, I'm just tired. We're exploring. No.
But he looked anxious and said he'd rather I stayed next to him. Seemed like he was more freaked out than I. As long as you grasp 3 skills, you will stay in all palace games. Take notes now. I realized that my new sim
I feel like that she's the villain in this. I don't know why, I just feel like she is.
didn't have any of my numbers, so I went over to my boyfriend's car and slipped my hand through the broken window to get my old SIM. Surely nothing would happen if I just switched them over quickly to upload all my numbers to the cloud. Well, I was wrong. Stuff would happen. There were so many messages. Firstly, one from my neighbor asking if I was okay because he'd seen me leaving in the night. And then there it was, a message from the crying stalker guy saying that he was on his way to come and see me and that he hoped the extra money he sent me would be enough to get me to change my mind. What money? What was he talking about? I decided to reply to him asking if he was okay as he seemed confused. I'd received no money and maybe he had...
This man's name is Stalker Guy. Stalker Guy, no.
the wrong Clara. Well, at least he wouldn't find me out here at this cabin. But just as I was about to click send, my boyfriend appeared behind me and asked what I was doing.
Oh, gotta get my lighter first. Oh, my eyes. Okay, gotta get that one. Oh, my other eye. Oh, okay, now my eyes are on fire. Gotta get another lighter and just throw it on the grass. Okay, now we're in a pit of fire. Oh, my eyes. Okay. The hell are you doing?
Told him I was texting my mom and quickly clicked send. But then he looked over my shoulder and saw, and I realized I was in trouble. Suddenly, I saw his face change, and he asked if I knew this guy. He asked if I was cheating on him, and I almost laughed. I was the most loyal girlfriend ever. Then he grabbed my phone and read the messages. He asked about the money, and I said I seriously had no idea what the guy was talking about. But my boyfriend didn't believe me. He took my phone, pulled the SIM out, and broke it in half. That was the first time I ever felt nervous around my boyfriend. He was normally so chilled. But now he was acting jealous, and it didn't suit him one bit. I told him I wanted to go home, and he said no way, it wasn't safe. My friends were right. He was way too clingy. What I didn't tell him was that before he'd found me texting the stalker, I'd managed to upload all my numbers to the cloud, and now they were on my new SIM. I had to know who this guy was and what he was talking about. I asked my boyfriend when his grandparents were getting back, and he said they were away for a few days. Then he smiled at me and said we had the place all to ourselves. My boyfriend said it was pool time and handed me a green bikini that he bought for me. A couple of hours later, I woke up feeling completely burnt, and my boyfriend was nowhere to be seen. I reached for my phone, but it wasn't there. I started to panic. I jumped up, and that's when my boyfriend appeared, saying, "Hey, Sleeping Beauty, didn't want to wake you. Looking for this?" He had my phone in his hand. I asked him to give it back, and he laughed and said, "Catch." Then he threw it into the pool. I was so angry. What was he playing at? I went to dive in to get it, but he jumped in first. When he climbed out of the pool, he dropped my phone onto the sun lounger and said, "I need a new phone." And then he said, "Oh, and your other boyfriend messaged. He asked why you've stopped sending him photos." Then he just walked off. I ran after him and told him I had no idea who this guy was and that it was really freaking me out. Then he turned to me and said, "How do you explain this?" I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was some Instagram account full of photos of me, and it was even my name. But it wasn't my account, and I told him this over and over again. He didn't believe me. He showed me all of these comments from a guy who was claiming to be my boyfriend. I was so freaked out. Someone had obviously stolen my identity. He told me to pack my bag and go home, and that he was gonna shower and wanted me gone before he came out. This was unbelievable. This is the guy who loved me so much, and suddenly he wanted me out of his...
Okay, I'm so confused here. So, he's the one who's... I am confused. I'm confuzzled. I am so confused. Okay, so let me get this straight. So their boyfriend was pretending to be them. They're pissed because they're cheating. I'm so confused.
life. I didn't even have a phone that worked anymore. How could I get home? Suddenly the phone rang, and I realized, of course, there was a house phone. I ran to pick it up and was surprised to hear a woman's voice. She said, "Hi, Clara. I trust everything is okay with the cabin. Remember, checkout is at 10 a.m. on Friday, but if there's anything you need before then, just let me know." How did she know my name was Clara? I asked her, and she said, "Well, because the bill was under my name." What now? But this was my boyfriend's family's cabin. I mean, there were family photos on the wall. Okay, things weren't really adding up here. When I'd met my boyfriend, he didn't seem to be particularly wealthy. My friends even teased me about it, but then he'd started buying me gifts. Small things at first, like chocolates and teddy bears. And then recently, he'd bought me a Tiffany's necklace and matching earrings. Plus, he'd bought a car, and then I saw this cabin and thought, wow, his family must earn top dollar. But this was a rental, and he expected me to pay for this. I banged on the bathroom door and shouted that it was him who was a liar, not me, and that it wasn't okay for him to take advantage of me like this. He didn't reply, so I kept knocking, and then I saw a light flashing outside. I started screaming, thinking it was the stalker arriving, and then I heard a car engine. I looked outside, and there was my boyfriend driving off. I tried to open the door, but it was locked. He'd locked me in. How could he do this to me? I wasn't a cheat. I called him from the house phone, but he wouldn't pick up. I was really terrified now. I went to the bedroom to see if there was an open window, but everything was locked. And then I saw something flashing. It was my phone. This couldn't be. It had fallen into the pool. Had he tricked me? Was it some other phone that just looked identical to mine? I thought maybe it was my boyfriend calling to apologize, so I picked up. But it was the stalker. He said, "Surprise, I'm outside." I then spoke in a whisper and told him that I'd call the police if he took one step closer. But he kept talking. He said he'd gone to my house, but when I hadn't answered, he checked my Instagram and saw a photo of me in my green bikini. He said it was good I tagged the location or he'd never have found me. Then he asked why I had 2 Instagrams. Oh my gosh. I crawled under the bed and called my boyfriend. He picked...
Go on, mix it up a little. Get 2 medium 2-topping pizzas from Domino's for $5.99 each.
I'm
I
so
have some
confused.
questions for you.
What's wrong?
Where were you yesterday?
picked up.
I'm so confused.
And I burst into tears. He said he was sorry and could explain everything and that he hadn't meant for me to find out. Find out what? I asked him. Then I told him the stalker was outside and he needed to call the police. I waited for him to reply, but there was nothing. He'd hung up on me. I lay there holding my breath when suddenly I heard a car pulling up. The stalker was here, and then I heard voices. There was more than one of them. I plucked up the courage to go over to the window and peek outside. Standing there was my boyfriend, and then there was some other guy. It had to be the stalker. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My boyfriend was asking the guy what he was doing, and he said he was here to see me and that he was my boyfriend. This couldn't be happening. This freak actually believed he was my boyfriend. Whoever had stolen my identity had a lot to pay for right now. What a mess. Because my boyfriend was there, I felt safe to go outside. So I crept over to the door. I started knocking, but my boyfriend wouldn't open up. He said it was for my own good. Under the light of the patio, I realized how harmless the stalker looked. In fact, he was kinda cute. And when he saw me, he broke out into the biggest smile and blew me a kiss. Great. So my boyfriend was probably going to fight him now. I couldn't watch. The stalker ignored my boyfriend and came right up to the glass. He put his hand out and said he'd been waiting for this moment
My head hurts for trying to fake throw up too. Oh gosh.
for so long, and that I was even more beautiful.
I'm waiting for him to be like the boyfriend just to do this. Like he's just like, you're so beautiful. If no one gets what I'm saying, like, you know, his head is just like right there. I'm waiting for the boyfriend to be like, never turn your back away, and then just through the window.
In real life, I told him he'd made a mistake. I wasn't who he thought he was, and that someone had been pretending to be me. He just laughed and said I didn't need to be so shy, and then he asked if my boyfriend was my brother, and maybe he could give us some privacy. I looked to my boyfriend, expecting him to say something, but he just looked like he was seeing a ghost. And then the stalker started reciting some poetry and asked me to join in, seeing as I'd written the poem. I was so confused. And then I recognized the poem, but it wasn't mine. My boyfriend had written it in a card to me for Valentine's Day. I thought he was so romantic at the time. This was really creeping me out. I backed away from the glass and shouted, "That's not my poem, it's his!" pointing at my boyfriend. Suddenly, the stalker swung around, and then something crazy happened. My boyfriend broke down. He said, "It's true. It's my poem. In fact, I'm Clara. Well, she's Clara, but all this time it was me pretending to be her. Sorry, Clara. I didn't want to hurt you. I just got carried away." No. So my boyfriend had catfished this guy by pretending to be me.
Oh, I just realized the name thing. He actually paid for the luxury things that he got her. I just realized that. And then he used it under her name because he gave it to her account. Your boy's smart.
Then he let me believe I had a stalker and broke up with me because he thought I was cheating on him. This was too much. The stalker looked like he was going to pass out, and my boyfriend came running up to the glass. He said at first he'd just done this because he had heard he could make some easy money by pretending to be me, and then seducing some guy who'd send the money. Then he went quiet and said he quickly realized how much he was falling for this guy and that he didn't know what to do because he'd fallen in love with him. He thought I'd found out and that's why he'd fled from the house in a panic. No way. I thought the stalker would explode or something, but he turned to my boyfriend and looked at him. I covered my face thinking he was going to throw a punch, but instead he said, I actually don't mind that you tricked me. It's your personality I really fell in love with. Do you want to be my boyfriend? What was happening? And that is how I...
Bro, that's messed up. That's messed up. They're gay, you know? Wow. It's not messed up that they're gay. It's just kind of weird. This better be some dream.
I watched my boyfriend run off with another guy right in front of my eyes. Talk about dropping a bomb on me. Oh, but don't worry, my boyfriend, or should I say ex-boyfriend, slipped me a key under the door so I could get out of there. How kind of him. Not. Let's just say it was the least he could do after stealing my identity to find love.
And that was it. So that was kind of weird. So so that's just kind of weird. Like, okay, just imagine me, okay? Just imagine that I was in that situation. I was the boy who got catfished. And there's just some man there, and I'm like, bro, what the heck? Okay, but it also turns out that he likes him for money. Another thing is he kind of thinking that, does he think that he's kind of, have blonde hair, look like just like her. I don't know. Because he turned straight, and then he automatically looks at him and was like, yeah. And then just like, yeah. By my gosh, that is so fake, it's so weird. Oh my gosh. I guess I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. And that was weird, and bye.